on Falcon Weekly. Drug violations are down on campus, but the opioid epidemic in America is on the rise. See why scientists say marijuana could actually help the problem.
students' prayers and petitions have been answered. Taco Bell is making its way to the Vallow. Find out when the doors will open for business.
And after a heartbreaking end to the men's basketball season, we will talk with senior point guard Kevin Kelly about his time as a Falcon.
There's a mistake. Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture.
And talk about a plot twist. From the ultimate mix-up to other record-breaking wins, we recap the highlights from Hollywood's biggest night. Falcon Weekly starts right now. Hello and welcome to Falcon Weekly. I'm Brianna Rose.
And I'm Hope Finley. Thanks so much for joining us. New numbers from UMPD show drug violations on campus have dropped. According to UMPD Public Information Officer Brian Prady, there were 8 drug violations in 2016. That's down from 31 in 2015. Housing and Residence Life Director John Denson says marijuana is the most common illegal substance found on campus dorms. The drop in violations is being attributed to an increase in health and safety checks in residence halls. UMPD also patrols each dorm at least once every night. UM has also implemented mandatory education programs for all incoming students.
America's opioid epidemic appears to be getting worse, especially with heroin. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says 1 in 4 drug overdoses in 2015 was linked to heroin. That number was just 6% in 1999. Overall, opioids were involved in 73% of overdose deaths. According to the National Center for Health Statistics, there were more than 52,000 overdose deaths in the U.S. in 2015. By comparison, the number of deaths caused by firearms was just over 36,000.
And there may be a new tool in the fight against opioid addiction: marijuana.
A new study indicates that pot might help ease cravings for heroin and other opioids. Kim Hutcherson has a story in today's Health Minute.
Cannabis may be a potential therapy for the treatment of opioid addiction. That's according to a recent review of studies that was published in the journal Trends in Neurosciences. The review examined multiple studies and found that states with legalized marijuana reported a reduction in opioid use. They had fewer prescriptions for opioid painkillers, a lower number of opioid overdoses than states without medical marijuana, and reported fewer opioid-involved car fatalities. 91 Americans die every day from opioid overdoses, and 80% of new heroin users say they started out misusing opioids. The review suggests that one particular component of marijuana, cannabidiol or CBD, shows promise for treating opioid addiction. Researchers say CBD has minimal side effects and no toxicity. This makes it hard to misuse, and its strong safety profile even makes it suitable for use by children. The lead author of the review says the potential addiction-curbing properties of cannabis need more study to establish appropriate formulations and formal protocols to administer it. For today's Health Minute, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
With the rise of potential benefits from the use of pot, the marijuana industry is expected to create more than 250,000 jobs by 2020. A new report from New Frontier Data says that by that time, the cannabis market will create more jobs than expected in manufacturing, utilities, or even the government. The legal cannabis market was worth an estimated $7.2 billion last year, and it is projected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 17%. These projections could change, though. Last Thursday, the White House says the federal government is going to step up marijuana law enforcement. When we return, find out how UM is helping ease the burden of summer school tuition. Falcon Weekly will be right back.
And joining us today is Dr. Tammy Dolly to tell us more about the summer scholarship opportunity. So thanks so much for joining us.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
And I guess to start off, what are some of the requirements when applying for the scholarship?
Sure. Well, these scholarships are for both summer tuition and summer housing, and it's for undergraduate students. And it's both merit and needs-based, so students have to have a 2.5 GPA in order to qualify. And then we rate students not only on their GPA, but also on any type of need that they may have, especially through their federal FAFSA form. So we encourage students who might apply for these scholarships to also apply for FAFSA through the Financial Aid Office.
Okay. Where did the idea for this summer scholarship come from?
Sure. Well, we've noticed a decline in summer attendance over the past few years, and the administration decided that we needed to really sort of intervene in that. What we know is that some of our students are going to different schools for classes that we offer here at Montevallo, and we really want to encourage students to stay here on campus and to complete their coursework here, including summer terms. And so we thought that we could provide some incentive for students to stay in the form of scholarships, not only for housing, but for tuition, because many of our students, we believe, move home and attend perhaps a community college or a university closer to their home so that they can save the funds that they would spend on housing here at the university. So we want to make it really an incentive for students, and we want to make it easier for students to choose Montevallo over any other university or community college to attend during the summer.
Okay, and so have you seen like a rise in summer enrollment since the mentioning of the scholarship?
Well, we haven't enrolled students for summer yet, and so at least for this semester. And so we have seen, though, quite a few people apply. Before we even started to promote the program, we had about a dozen people apply just, the first day that we put the application up. So we feel like there's going to be a lot of interest, and we hope that there will be. We'll have a selection committee choose those students who qualify and award them accordingly. But we hope that it will help boost summer enrollment.
So you just said that, you're wanting to keep some of the Montevallo students here, but do you think that for other students that go to farther off colleges in other states, do you think that this will give them a chance to do their summer classes at Montevallo and probably bring in some new students?
Well, it is for prospective students. Obviously, they might have the GPA requirement that they still have to fulfill, but it's open to all undergraduate students, both returning and prospective students. So we hope that it might help encourage enrollment, but that wasn't the initial thought. The initial thought is that we really want to help the students who are already here. We want our students to be able to attend our university over the summer, and if there's a way that we can assist with that, we're certainly open to it. We hope this is a way that will help.
For sure.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Talley.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thank you. President Trump says the U.S. is $20 trillion in debt. Find out where he plans to make budget cuts and increases. That story and more when Falcon Weekly returns. President Donald Trump is unveiling some details about the budget he will submit to Congress in a few weeks.
His plan calls for a major hike in defense spending as well as cuts to programs that he says are wasteful. Steve Nance has the details.
As President Donald Trump prepares to address a joint session of Congress on Tuesday night, new details are emerging about his upcoming budget proposal. Speaking to the National Governors Association Monday morning, the president laid out his vision under one overriding theme.
This budget will be a public safety and national security budget.
Among the proposals,
The historic increase in defense spending and activities having to do with law enforcement will be substantially increased. We must ensure that our courageous servicemen and women have the tools they need to deter war.
officials with the White House say defense spending will increase by $54 billion under Trump's plan and will correspond with roughly the same amount in cuts from non-defense programs. The Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, as well as foreign aid will be significantly cut.
We're going to do more with less.
An official with the Office of Management and Budget adds that most federal agencies will see a reduction in their overall budget.
With the $20 trillion in debt, can you imagine that? The government must learn to tighten its belt.
Democrats are skeptical that the math adds up.
We don't know where the cuts are coming from, but it's hard to see with this magnitude of cuts that, once again, middle-class people, working families are going to be hurt.
The administration has said the president doesn't want any reductions in Medicare or Social Security spending. In Washington, I'm Steve Nannis reporting.
In addition to the $54 billion increase in defense spending, a senior administration official says President Trump will also seek $30 billion in supplemental defense appropriations for the 2017 fiscal year.
Here at Falcon Weekly, we pride ourselves on accuracy. Unfortunately, a story we reported last week about UM's SGA buying thousands of dollars worth of pencils contained what turned out to be unclear wording. We reported that SGA voted to spend roughly half of its remaining budget on $2,100 worth of pencils for the free supplies program. That amount is actually only half of the budget designated for Student Senate projects, not SGA's entire budget. We regret the error and wanted to take the time to make things right.
Now we turn to the story that sent shockwaves across campus. Taco Bell is coming to Montevallo. Last week, the city announced that a new Taco Bell will be built on Main Street. The 63-seat restaurant will be built beside the tavern and will feature a large patio eating area. According to the city, permitting and construction will last approximately 5 months. The new Taco Bell could be open as soon as late summer.
McDonald's will soon be slashing the cost of its drinks. For a limited time starting in April, all sizes of soft drinks will cost $1, and small-sized McCafe smoothies, shakes, and frappes will cost just $2. In a statement, McDonald's said they're trying to reinvigorate excitement for their beverages. It comes after McDonald's latest quarterly earnings report, in which the chain posted a 1.3% decline in sales in U.S. stores open a year or more. The 89th Annual Academy Awards are now in the history books. Actors and actresses dressed to the nines and descended on Los Angeles to learn who would get the coveted golden statue.
But along with this year's crop of winners, the headline of Oscars 2017 is definitely the mix-up that happened during the Best Picture announcement. Kristen Holmes was there and has the story.
La La Land.
We lost, by the way, but, you know.
A stunning and unprecedented Oscar night flub over the most important award of the evening.
Moonlight.
La La Land mistakenly announced as Best Picture, even though the winner was Moonlight, causing confusion on stage where the La La Land team was already accepting the award. Oscars overseer PricewaterhouseCoopers releasing a statement and promising an investigation. But La La Land wasn't left in the cold, Emma Stone winning Best Actress for her role in the film, and Damien Chazelle for Best Director. At 32, he's the youngest Best Director winner in history. Best Actor went to Casey Affleck for his role in Manchester by the Sea. After outrage over the lack of diversity in Academy Awards in past years, this year's ceremony celebrating it. Viola Davis winning Best Supporting Actress for her role in Fences, making her the first African American to win an Oscar, Emmy, and Tony for acting roles.
This is sort of like the miracle of God, of dreaming big and just hoping that it sticks.
And of course, amid the pomp, there was also politics. Host Jimmy Kimmel taking jabs at President Trump. At one point, even tweeting him. In Los Angeles, I'm Kristen Holmes.
Well, this one, I felt like we were reliving the Miss Universe pageant.
Agreed. The tweets and the memes and everything that has come up after this is just hilarious.
Yeah,
you know?
but I mean, I know we all want to see them win. Everyone
Yeah.
can't win, but I really am happy for them for winning that for Moonlight.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you know, at least we all got a good laugh out of it. You know, and it just kind of brings us back to show that, you know, if you own up to your mistakes, you know, just own up to them, and you know, people will forget about it eventually. Maybe not so fast as
Right.
social media, but at least you get a good laugh at it. You know.
Yeah. Well, now it's time to take a look at some Falcons athletics news in this week's Falcon Fever. Montevallo women's track and field team claimed the team championship in its first outdoor meet of the season. The Falcons took home the Cougar Invitational in Columbus, Georgia with a 146-point total, 11 more than runners-up Augusta. Senior Cheyenne Thompson had a successful afternoon. She claimed the individual title in the 1,500 and 3,000-meter runs. Coach Barksdale and the team traveled to Huntsville this weekend for the UAH Charger Invitational. Montevallo women's lacrosse team beat the Lee Flames 20-4 on Saturday to improve to 3-3 on the season and pick up a first Gulf South victory. Jamie Hudak set a new program record for goals scored in a game with 8. The Falcons will play 2 away games against Tampa and Florida Tech this upcoming weekend. Also, the women's tennis team opened Peach Belt Conference play with an 8-1 win at Clayton State. The Falcons swept the Lakers in singles matches and remain undefeated heading into Saturday's clash at Flagler.
Baseball wrapped up their weekend series against Lander with a 12-4 win Sunday. The Falcons dropped the first game on Friday before losing in extra innings on Saturday. Freshman Anthony Porter got the win in the final game. He pitched 5 1/3 innings and allowed only 2 hits while striking out 5 batters. Coach Rose's Falcons traveled to Tuskegee Wednesday before returning home to face Auburn Montgomery on Friday afternoon. Montevallo's men's basketball season ended on Saturday with a 99-107 loss at Augusta in the Peach Belt quarterfinals. The Falcons had claimed a share of the West Division despite losing their final regular season game last Wednesday at Clayton State. The loss meant the Falcons face a tough road contest to Augusta in the conference tournament. Montevallo hung around with the Jaguars, but Keyshawn Sherrill's 29 points helped the host advance to the semifinals. The Falcons were led by seniors Javonte Douglas and Kevin Kelly, who scored 26 and 23 points respectively. The Falcons ended their final season in the Peach Belt with a 17-10 record. And senior point guard for the Falcons, Kevin Kelly, stopped by this afternoon to talk with Alex Tejeda about the season.
Hi, I'm Alex Tejada, and I'm sitting down with senior guard Kevin Kelly. Kevin, how did you go from junior college ball to coming to play under Coach Young at Montevallo?
I went to South Mountain Community Colleges in Arizona. I went and walked on there, played. So freshman year did pretty good. Played my sophomore year, and I got All-American there. And Coach Young is a Phoenix guy, so he looked, and Teran Brown went to the same school I went to. So it was kind of connected there, and he got me to come here for a scholarship.
You didn't start initially at the beginning of last year, but you kind of worked your way into the starting spot. What was that journey like? Me personally, my height, and I've always been an underdog, so I just work hard and just do what I got to do just to earn my spot. I don't like to have spots given to me. I like to earn it. So, what parts of your game do you think you've developed between the two seasons?
Definitely my IQ of the game, mentally, and just being a better leader, and my making shots and hitting threes. I got better on it.
Is there any type of player or any defensive style you try to model yourself after? Because you get a lot of steals and you have a good free throw percentage.
Yeah, Isaiah Thomas. He's in the NBA right now, playing for the Boston Celtics. He's like one of my favorite players. I normally watch him before every game, and I watch him even like when I'm not in the game. I just be in my room. I watch him, and I like Patrick Beverly defense. He played for Houston Rockets, my favorite team, and he has some great defense. So.
What was your favorite moment as a player in your times here?
Of course, when I set my game high, my career high, 27 points at North Georgia. I was 4 for 4 from the three. I was happy, and I had a pretty good game. We lost by 2 points, I believe, free throw, but it happens. But I like that game.
Do you have any regrets taking back from the last 2 seasons? Because y'all had a lot of close losses.
That right there, just in the game, if we did a couple more things right, those close games that even last year, we lost like 5 games by 1 or 2. This year we lost a couple of games by like 1 or 2. It's like we beat ourselves. So if anything, I regret is just beating ourselves and doing what we got to do to get the win.
After you graduate, do you plan to keep basketball in your life in any way?
Yeah. After I graduate, I'm of course, try to find a job in my field of sociology, and then if basketball continues, then I want to actually go play overseas or something. If not that, then I want to be a coach. I have a son, so I'm going to be a coach to him, mentoring him, and just be around kids and do that AAU or something.
What are the most influential things that you'll take away from your time at Montevallo?
Just the people around. They show me like much love and support and make me feel like a family here. So I just got to continue to just take that on wherever I go.
All right, thanks, Kevin.
All right, thank you.
Finally this week, bumblebees may be smarter than you think. A researcher at Queen Mary University of London trained bees to roll a ball by rewarding them with sugar water. The experiment required the bees to move a ball to a specific location before they got their treat. If a bee couldn't figure out how to get the reward, a researcher would demonstrate by using a plastic bee on a stick to push the ball to the center. The bees then quickly learned what they had to do to be rewarded. The study is published in the journal Science.
Remember, there's more news online 24/7. Just search for Falcon Weekly on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to see more stories and news updates throughout the week. That's all the time we have for this week's show. Thank you so much for joining us.
For more UM news from MassCom student reporters, be sure to check out the Falcon News Network blog. The web address is on your screen. We'll see you again next week.